All right.
Mm.
I've been excited for this session, as you know.
Oh,
Welcome to the stage, if you will.
thanks so much. I think this is my first national stage opportunity. So thanks for
Really?
the opportunity. I'm a bit.
Jones, I can't believe that for a single second. Don't tell me no one's asked you to speak.
Well, there we go. But I've had like three coffees which hasn't helped the nerves. So I've just taken some Mushborn stress support, which my wife bought from Spirit Fest. So if I start hallucinating, I'm gonna try and not show you, not do it
Okay.
on screen. Okay, so
If
no,
you
just
start
joking.
hallucinating, send me an SMS and go,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
happening.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I've used this before. Look, I
So,
love
Matt
what that's.
Jones, for everybody who doesn't know and may have been hiding under a rock somewhere in New Zealand, I have had the absolute pleasure of getting to know this guy. He has built the one of the most phenomenal businesses. I love his marketing. I love his training. I love what he's doing in the business that he is growing. I love the independence, the thought process behind it. Everybody who is listening in, Matt Jones, independent agent. Wow, honestly,
Thanks.
you're here for a reason. Everybody wants to listen to what you have to say, my friends. So,
Well,
without further ado, please speak up. And have you got some slides to share today, Matt?
yeah, I've got slides. Actually, last time I was on Zoom, I couldn't start unsharing, but we'll just roll with that. I just love what that last panel said, though, about if you're thinking about someone just calling them, because I reckon I've lost like am I allowed to swear? A lot of business in the past, not doing that. But I think like the coolest thing is when you just go and do it, you're sort of um, you're breaking your own barriers, but quite likely I think someone else is going to benefit from it. Shall I start sharing?
Yes.
Okay. Uh,
Let me know if there's any tech hiccups.
well, there
No?
might not
There you
be,
go.
but there might be. I'm just want to
See? Up it pops. Look at this marketing.
Okay, so
Oh,
like the whole wave thing, the whole we talk a lot about shifting currents, shifting tides, shifting wind at the moment, and we sort of try to feed that into our branding as much as we can. It's just getting that feeling there's a little bit of a change going around. There's a lot of play on words, and our marketing that used that branding there was really successful. We've tried all sorts of crazy creativity, but this sort of stuff is resonating with people at the moment. Man, I'm got to be careful I don't go too crazy off track here. But so pull me back on. But I thought that what did you say? The future of real estate and the independent movement, and I'm like imagining the rise of the independents like some kind of crazy movie franchise. So here we go, guys. I've got about four slides of a little bit about me, about 5 slides of what I'm up to now, and then I've got a bunch of like talking about what the alternative style agencies are all about. And still, the coffee's winning, the reishi mushrooms are not. So we'll just try and slow down a bit and go through to the next slide. So my background, a little bit about me. Started selling real estate in 2024. Prior to that, I was a school teacher, also a horticulturalist and a hobbyist musician, and all those things you'll see threading through sort of everything I do all the time. In fact, behind me right now, it's my latest obsession is bonsai. So there you go. My mates were all driving around in like $60,000 V8 Commodores, which was the thing to drive back in 2024. Apparently, the European cars hadn't kind of come in quite as they have now. I was driving around in a $2,000 Corolla. They were buying houses, and I was living with my in-laws, and I had small children, and it wasn't a good thing. So I looked at what they were doing and what they were achieving, and that they were living like that, and I thought, well, I want to get into a bit of that. You guys, are real estate agents here on this call, so you've all gone through there. I made a little bit of an impact, and this is 19th of April 2008, front page of the Weekend Herald. I found this the other day when I was cleaning up my bedroom. This is great publicity for me, don't you think? Units value plunges 83%. as the gloss goes off the Auckland housing market, Blue Chip had been in there prior to the gloss going off. They'd sold a whole lot of stuff to some people around the place. Very sad situation. In this case, we auctioned the property. It failed. I went back into their living room and said, we're going to have to do a no reserve auction. No one wants to buy your property, but it did make the front page of the Herald. I was running primarily an auction business, and that's kind of what we did at Ray White City Apartments, where I started. I'm just going to keep going here. Jump in with any questions. Emily, please interrupt me whenever you like as well.
Oh, you're doing a stellar job, my friend.
Oh, thank you for that.
I'm just listening intently, as is everybody else.
Okay, cool. So during that period, I'm going to try not to say as well. So during that period of time working for Ray White, I started at City Sales. I think there's someone on this call who knows City Sales. I worked for Ray White with my business partner, Damien Piggin. And if we get time at the end, I'd love to just talk about my take on teams, because it's kind of pretty important. During the GFC, though, I kind of lost my way a wee bit. And let's just be honest here. It wasn't just the crash in the market. There's lots of things going on. My mate Sam turned up at my house one day, and he'd come back from Whangarei. And I was like, man, we should try this music thing. My assistant Lise laughed at this picture because she'd never seen me. Well, no one's really seen me with hair, but there I am with hair. But you might think in that photo that I kind of look old. And well, I kind of think I look old too. I was the high flyers bit there. Well, we were high the whole time. I was definitely an alcoholic and probably a drug addict at that point in time, as well as a musician. So there you go. Still got that guitar right there. Still Sam is my best mate. So he's also cleaned his act up as well. My mate Paul Reed picked me up out of the gutter. So you may have heard of him. He founded a business called Iconisti. He was also on an ambulance driver on Shortland Street before that. He's a musician as well. And so he said, mate, you've got too many skills. You need to come and use those skills. So he got me working in his business, Iconisti, which is the top right-hand side there of that little graphic. This was the 14th of September. I think it was the front page of the business section. And my phone started pinging off because poor Belle, my wife, and I were once again notoriously on the Herald for being flippin' hell professional speculators. Very embarrassing for the wives, actually. Rhiannon there was not very happy about being mentioned there either. But so Paul, quite cool. Paul founded Iconisti. He moved out, started flipping commercial. I jumped into his space flipping residential. Jay Bodle down below, Jackson, I taught him how to sell real estate. He started flipping. The other two down the bottom there were frenemies, we were competition, and Akrish Properties there. They are the founders of Hills Real Estate. So there's a little bit of people we know there. Go back to my notes. What are we talking about? Yeah, what I'm doing now. This is where we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. That's me now. Bonsai, very important to me. There was a family holiday to Fiji for Christmas in the middle there. Sadly, my wife's father passed away just before that trip. So it was a Christmas and a funeral. It was a bit tough. And she's just left this morning, 5 a.m. this morning, left to go over to Fiji to spend some time with her mum. So I'm dadding as well at the minute. And my favorite beach, Te Ari, in the background there after a surf. Here we go. But this is actually mostly what I'm doing now, because I don't really get that much time these days to muck around. There's our brand new website. Independent agent. There's a couple of little examples of what we do. And if you want to check out our website, I'm going to go back. There is a little code there. So here we go. Emily, jump in. Anyone jump in with anything? I'm happy to. I can't see the chat.
I love that you have a QR code.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Very clever. Yeah.
People need to be using way more QR codes absolutely everywhere. I know it was a big thing that we didn't love throughout COVID, but it just makes things so easy. I actually have a QR code on a lot of stuff that I do, because it's much easier for the people that I list and sell for just to book an appraisal directly through that QR. So as always, on the money, Mr. Jones.
Oh, thanks for that. Try to be. Hey, what I'm doing now. So founder of and managing director of Independent Agent. We've been in business 5 years, so we've sort of self-funded our own growth, and we call that in our little network, we call that building the bike as we ride it. We've got 56 salespeople on board and a primary sort of management and admin team of about 6 of us, support in various roles as well. We look after 15 individual brands with their very own identity, including their own space on Trade Me, so on, plus a bunch of own branded salespeople as well, and people operating under the Independent Agent brand. So talked about that, don't need to repeat it. There's some of our brands, aren't they looking fabulous? That very bright purple. It's like, wow, look at that, bright purple flags, and they're just doing so well over on Waiheke Island there, but there's just some of the people we look after. This is quite a cool slide because I think it's a little microcosm of the whole, I don't know what to call us, but I'm going to say independence or sort of alternative. I'll use these expressions interchangeably. Independence, people who are working outside of the sort of conventional office space. You know what I'm talking about. So that 0 there on the left-hand side of that slide, it was looks like $0 and 0 sales. It was actually 2 sales in the 2020-21 year, and about $1.25 million value. So we've got dollar value of real estate and number of sales on the left, number of sales on the right. You can see on 2022, we jumped up a bit. 2023 jumped up a bit more. But I think this is happening like across the whole market with independent style / remote style businesses like ours, like EXP, and like others that I'll talk about soon. So, man, I'm off my slides so much. What I got thinking about a little bit is that, you know, while we've got 200 this last financial year, like, you know, $230 odd million worth of sales, that didn't go into a traditional real estate agency. What gets me really thinking more than the money or the dollar value or this and that is it's all those real estate signs that aren't out on the street. And it's all the sold signs that aren't out on the street for those bigger players. And it's like, it's quite an interesting sort of change in the market. It's all the social posts. It's all the rate my agent reviews that are not going in that direction, but they're going in this other direction at the moment. I think if you add it all together, if you take the EXPs and the @Realties and the independent agents and all the other guys and girls out there, you've got a little bit of a shift in the market. And I want to take a little bit of a look at what's underpinning it. And any questions? Deathly silence. I'll keep going then. Interrupt me anytime. We could talk about other things. We can also talk about team building. We can talk about motivation. We can talk about headspace. We can talk about all that stuff. So feel free to jump in on anything at any point. I reckon the biggest thing with this style of working and the style of agency at the moment is around mindset and philosophy. It's got to start somewhere. So all of this, like, we're going to do this different, we're going to do this different, we're going to do that different, has to start with a bit of a mindset shift. This is my take. When we're talking about the future of real estate, I guess I'm really, really biased. Like, I've invested myself financially, emotionally, physically, spiritually, fully invested, right? So this is just my take. But the big thing, right, removal of corporate layers. So we haven't got franchise fees. We haven't got a bunch of, you know, layers to get to the top. It's quite accessible. It's quite a level management style. I haven't got it on there, but I often think of like myself as being in partnership with my team, and that's key. Efficient systems are massive. Like, if you think about in the old days, you could walk in with a folder and slam it down on the manager's desk, and he'd eventually get to it. And then it would get taken over to the other person, the admin, who's usually a she, and she would do that, and then it would go off in a fax machine. Nowadays, it's like, we have to do this remotely. It has to be efficient. Level management, focus on partnership. I did have it there. Democratic over authoritarian. How about that? That's kind of getting way into philosophy, but very much like when we want to make a decision, we are polling our people. We are asking our people. We're not just going, we're right. I want to go this way. It's just not going to work. Growth and forward focus, not unique to us. And there you go, flipping the relationship between agency and agent, service-based model stuff. Let me talk about service if there aren't any questions. Man, I talk fast. Okay, service is just like the absolute, I think, pinnacle starting point of this. It should probably be up at the top of that that slide. When I was sitting down looking at what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it, service was the thing. When I started real estate, it was that kind of 80s, 90s sort of style hustle with a boss at the top, and you'd better damn well do what you're told, blah, blah, blah. I think that it was you work for me, and you will do what I say. And when I was in between jobs, as I often am, when I was in between jobs before I started independent agent, I had a little sit down with my very first boss, and on the back of a business card, I'd like to offer you a job, Matt, here. And he wrote down, for your first 100, you can have 50%. For your second 100, you can have, for your second, whatever it was. He said, but for you, I'll give you 60 to start, and it's like, okay, who works for who here? So I was trying to flip that script a little bit. Oh, here we go. This is, I always thought of this as a three-legged stool, but I reckon that in our space where we're going here with this kind of agency work, it's based on three principles. And I always sort of pitch this when I'm talking to people. They say, what do you do? How do you do it? Well, it's three principles. It's decentralized, which I always say remote work because people understand that, but really it's actually decentralized. Own brand and brand freedom and a higher pay scale. And I think of these as little sliders. So yeah, if you're going to have like loads of brand freedom and it's really hands off, maybe that's low. You can maybe going to get more income. Or maybe if you slide that up, you're going to be a little bit more careful with branding, and we're going to have a little bit more like teamy stuff. Then maybe we're going to need a little bit more money for that. So we're going to knock that back a bit. And I see that a lot of like when you're looking at if you're interested in the space, when you're comparing maybe agencies or trying to understand how it works. I think there's like a sort of a balance with a lot of this stuff. You can't do everything. Like the ideal model would be 100% pay, as much service whenever you need it, including a PA, and completely boutique, personalized branding everywhere you go. That's really expensive. You actually can't do that. So I think as we are looking to the future, because that's what this is about, I think it's how those sliding scales are going to play out, and more also how our individual differences as salespeople, and I'm looking at salespeople as clients, how our clients are going to need us. And it's getting that balance right between hands off, leave me to it. I want to be left alone, but damn it, when I need you, and I need your systems to be good. So it's a juggle. Anyone want to talk about that with me? Chuck something in the chat. Emily, oh, there's a chat. Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah, no, we are listening in. One of the things, well, there's actually two things that you have, there's a few, but the two things I've written down are partnership over dictatorship and being in service. And you can't see my face, but I'm sitting here nodding with every single thing that you are saying, Matt, because seriously, as I love and has started my wonderful career with major franchises, as you know, but really I love the better pay, being able to be your own brand, and the independent movement that everybody is also speaking about as well. And I love the fact that they've actually now got choice.
Yeah, super cool. There's choice. I kind of like, how do I describe the relationship between all of us? I mean, I had a situation where we had I'm not going to go into details. We had a salespeople person work in a suburb. It just wasn't working due to a clash. Very small spot. And I ended up ringing up one of the other brands not dissimilar to ours. And I was like, business is not dissimilar to ours rather. And it's like, I've got this situation. Can you look after this person for me? Which they did. It's like, and the receiver of that call reminded me, look, guys, we have to look after each other a little bit because we're still the minnows in this market. And And that was that was terribly played out though. I completely lost out on that one. By the way, here you go. I do occasionally make mistakes. So that person went on to recruit two other strong agents to that other brand, and the person who caused me all the trouble left. So there you go. Can't win them all. Hey,
we can't win them all yet.
Yeah, not all.
Is what my coach used to tell me.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, not yet. Hey, remote work and decentralized, what does it mean? You guys know all this stuff, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. As communication technologies enhanced, it's just got easier and easier for us to do this. These lists could go on forever. High degree of trust. Like there's got to be massive trust both ways. I've got to trust that my remote working agent down in Kaikoura, who started on Monday, is going to behave ethically and work in a trustworthy manner and not doing all that stuff, right? And likewise, all the way down there by herself in Kaikoura, she's got to be sure that Matt Jones isn't going to be up here at the pub from 2 o'clock if you need something on a deal, or mucking around doing other things not related to real estate, or that actually all those systems that he's promised us are so good are actually shit. So there has to be like trust involved. Look, systems and policy, super important, like crystal clear, simple to learn. It's like the iPhone, right? What an incredibly complicated piece of technology, right? Here it is in front of me, of course. But so intuitive to use. And I think like intuitive, simple, support when you need it, all that stuff. Oh, support, talking about that. I'm just riffing away and it's just there next. Clear expectations on support though. Like where is that line? So hard to get right. And as a salesperson, when you're talking about trust, like if you think that you're going to come into a remote work agency that pays you, massive amounts of money and you're also going to get your own PA, probably a challenge unless you're sort of in that very, very top bracket of writing. Self-motivated. Like, I don't know about you guys. Oh, don't go there. Oh, I can't help myself. I don't know about you guys, but I have good days and off days, right? And you get like a Tom Panos, or who's that guy at Mike at the beginning? He's like, schedule it. Da-da-da. Don't know about you. Some days I just like schedule. I'm out of here. And so, but everyone in these businesses needs a degree of self-motivation, but we as leaders in this industry, leaders in this space, and there's a lot of you here, we've got to be super careful that we also look after people. I reckon we have a massive pastoral responsibility as well. Super hard. Once again, as we learned in those lockdowns, Emily referred to earlier, people need to talk to people. People need to not be isolated. I'm going way off tangent here, so I'll pull myself back on.
I love the non-isolation component. Matt, I just wrote down be human.
Yeah, nice.
Be human. And I love that you brought up and made it okay as well for other human beings who are listening to this to understand that they too are going to have off days like you do, like I do. It doesn't mean that you can't get back on schedule, but sometimes it means you've got to take yourself out for an hour of peace, and that's okay and needed, because you cannot pour from an empty cup and be in service of others if you're not looking after yourself.
It's so true, and one that's like resonating for me at the moment, again jumping into that sort of more coachy motivational stuff, but like if I don't make time for exercise in my life, and I'm very, very busy just now with, as I said, my wife's just got on a plane. She just messaged me. I think she might have landed. I hope so. But I'm doing the kid run. My day is sort of like 8 till or 9 till 2ish at the moment for stuff like this. So, where was I going with that? But if I don't look after myself, which is certainly a challenge at the moment, then that's not good. So it's a matter of like, that's gone out of whack for whatever reason. Sleep, exercise, food, booze, all those things that go out of whack, get back into whack. All right, next thing. Brand free. Did I just do 2 jumps? Yeah. Oh my gosh, what am I doing here? I'm going the wrong way. There you go. First First markup. Okay, brand freedom, own branding. Oh, we're just sitting in this time, right, where people are just making stupid amounts of money of their with their personal brand. And I'm like, always there's been a brand within brand. When I was back at Ray White, I worked with Damien Piggin, and we had this thing, Piggin and Jones, experience is priceless. We were trying to push those limits then already. And you're seeing it more and more in the agencies. But just it's the time, as now is the sort of time where for a pretty low entry, you can get into quite a lot of real estate in the digital space. But I always tell my team, if you actually want to get results in real estate, what you need to do is get signboards up. So just focus on the signboards, focus on the sold stickers, and yeah, it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying. Brands within brands is amazing. The opportunity that we have in these kind of work models is massive to build brands within brands. In fact, that's clearly what we are focused on. Tolerance of brand variation is really quite interesting. The number of people that I've spoken with, some of them have come with me, some of them have stayed where they are, but I am so sick of being told what to do. I can't even build my own brochure that goes with this. I can't reflect my own personality that goes with this. For someone like, especially if you've got a bit of creativity in you, if you've been blessed/cursed with that, then you're going to really want to be pushing those limits of creativity. Like, that brand looks really good, but what say I just do some of this in this color, or what say I use this font? And there are some companies out there that are brand standards are so strict you can't do it. So I hate being tolerant with our brand that we've clearly invested some energy and time and money into. But at the same time, it's like, it's called independent. So, okay, I'll allow it. Yeah, you know about all that. What have I got on my notes here? Probably didn't even write notes. I don't think I did. Using, as time goes on, it's getting easier and easier for us to administer multiple brands. And I guess that's what I wanted to say. And that will just continue as the future goes. Any questions?
What is it? What's involved in the multiple? One of the things that I am watching and has been quite interesting for me is not just the independent movement, but being able to bring in all these different brands and what that actually looks like from your aspect, Matt. It's not as easy sometimes as what everybody thinks. I'll just do this. They'll just do. There are big connections, big operations, big.
Yeah.
It's huge in the back end. For instance,
It's
you might have up to 3 CRM systems because you've got 100, 200 people, and they all want to use something different. You never want to end up with 200 CRMs, but different trade me accounts and things like that. Like, it's integral. It's a matrix.
It's a fiddly little matrix. It's exactly what it is. And I think, like, it's one of the real contrasts and conflicts within, when I was talking about the sliding scales, the branding, like, man, my admin team, when I say, oh, this person's independent agent branded, they literally start doing cartwheels and backflips, because it's like, that's an easy onboard, right? When I say this is a branch with their own branding and their own trade and their own realestate.co and their own look and their own website and their own feel and blah 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 blah, they go, oh, okay, so we've got to do some work on this one. And it's like, it's a lot of work goes into it. So it's one of the weird kind of dichotomies. We actually should be charging more. That's with that branding stuff. Like, you're effectively getting a real estate agency for where you can work and earn a huge amount of money in the setup. So it's an interesting challenge, but like, at the same time, right, I'm a service model. I'm here to invest in people. I believe in people. Have I been screwed over a couple of times? Yep, I have. I've invested in people who have taken off. I've invested in people who haven't fired. But that is just like doing business, right? Sometimes, my mates in the trades, they'll paint a house and they might not get paid, right? This is kind of like, this is life. So you pull up your bootstraps, you have a cup of concrete and move on. So, yeah.
You know what? Every real estate agent on here is going to have had similar experiences, but probably more so with clients.
Oh, yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. Phone goes dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's nothing wrong with the house. No, I've got nothing to disclose.
Nothing wrong with the house. I love that. I love that. Do I need to even talk about this? It's pretty self-explanatory there. If you're looking at some other screens. So I've just said the way we're getting the higher pay scales is through efficiencies, less staffing. Certainly, like in this of days of remote work and decentralized work, it's quite amazing that I don't have to pay someone from 8:30 till 5:30 to do a job, because they can actually charge by the minute, by the hour, whatever, however it works. And so I find that I just find that amazing. It's so good. We live in crazy times. We live in amazing times. I've got a question from Jasmine.
I was going to say, you got a question here, Matt. How do you navigate the conversation regarding the franchise feels and the narrative that the brand holds power with the agents that are looking at the independent agent model? How do you speak to the perceived value of a franchise name?
That is a very, very cool question, and it's a challenging question. There's a couple of ways I think I probably would deal with it. Usually when people are coming to me or to us, they've already got a little bit of an inkling that there's a problem. I love it when people say, and I hear, oh, that person's Ray White through and through, and I always imagine someone with Ray White tattooed across their chest. It's like they've got Ray White tattooed on their chest. But the number of people I've seen with Ray White tattooed on their chest switch to Harcourts or Baileys, do what I call a sideways shift, and it's like, actually, it's something else. It's not just the brand that's holding them there. And I can also have someone blue in the face that I will never leave this business, and then a year later they've moved the business. So there's something in there where people get to a point, I think, psychologically, where they believe that for some reason that brand is not adding value to them anymore. Generally speaking, I think people continue with the brand because of continuity. There've been a couple of big offices collapse in Auckland Central, and the people from those offices have simply jumped to the same brand in peripheral offices. So, brand definitely has strength. How I deal with it is, well, it's they're kind of already here, right? They're already thinking, well, how many deals did I get to how many of my deals are because of the brand? There's a few little tipping points that I'd say, though. Agents have to know there's a script. The basis of the script is this. Share this one. It's a simple one. Vendors are more likely to list with a brand, but buyers don't care where when I say big brand or a known brand, buyers don't really care where the house is, right? So the conversation with vendors is simply this: you're familiar with these other brands. We are something different for sure, but when it comes to buyers, actually what they're looking for is they're looking for great service and all these other things. But first and foremost, they're actually looking for your house. My job, I'm a negotiator. I'm a marketer. We've got the same marketing reach as them. So I think as long as the agents know they have I don't feel like I'm answering this question very well. As long as the agents know that they have something they can grab hold of, the salespeople know they've got something they can hold on to, and then maybe there's a track record within the agency they're sort of looking at. I think probably it's okay. I'm feeling like I haven't. Probably there's a couple of brands that have immense brand hold over people, stronger than others. I'm not going to mention their names just because I'm not, but there's some international brands that have enormous hold over people, and sometimes it's just a matter of breaking that mentality, and social proof is always the easiest way, I think. I don't think I answered that.
I think you answered that question exceptionally well.
Well, thanks. How are we going for time? Are we? Oh no, we're not over.
Yeah, we've got another few minutes.
Any more questions? Thank you. Challenges and threats. I heard this expression, fast and loose, and it was actually, funnily enough, it was with supplements. I'm not playing fast and loose with this, and I think that one of the risks, one of the challenges within this remote work space and own branding space and all of this space that we're in is just playing fast and loose with with compliance and supervision. I came into this business with an understanding that most likely there's going to be at some point a target on my back, be it someone else in the industry, or if we make a mistake, maybe someone's going to look closer than they normally would, that kind of thing. So I think we just have to be really careful that we are supervising correctly, and we're also advertising correctly, because of our, by nature, remote working, smaller margins, all those things. I think it can be easy to just skip over those. And I think when I talk about that sliding scale, I'd rather be like, as a business owner, making sure that we're covered with these kind of things. And I think as a salespeople, ask the question, are we covered in these areas? Have we got appropriate supervision? Have we got appropriate compliance in place? A lot of that comes through systems, but not all of it. Just working there. I've talked about leadership, and it's all well and good. Like, I'm stand up here and rabbit away all day about leadership. But the key for me in this business is that the people I'm working with are naturally leaders. That's the admin team and the management team and the salespeople. So you want this leadership thing going on, because unless someone's willing to sort of stand on their own 2 feet, they're not going to be able to work on their own. They're not going to be able to do their own brand any justice. And certainly if you have like passive, more passive, maybe administration structure or admins, or any uncertainty there, in a remote work setting where there's not an office for a manager just to come in and drill down on someone who's maybe trying to push limits, so you need strong people in the administration structure and the management structure as well. The rest of that's pretty self-explanatory. Oh, do you want to hear it?
Yes,
So
we want to hear it.
you
Where
want to
are
hear
we
it?
headed, Matt?
Well, I don't know, but I reckon like 64% of my team are from big brands, right? The others have come in from smaller brands, but I'm talking about Bailey's, Ray White, Harcourts, Sotheby's. Yep.
Agree.
Yep. So that is more than half. I've written in my notes somewhere, which I'm not even following, that the minor itch or the minor irritation is going to become an itch and going to become something a little bit more annoying as time goes along. I wouldn't be surprised to see incumbent brands getting in on it. Without going into details, if you can imagine maybe some business owners that own multiple brands already, maybe they say, oh, let's dip our toes into this. And I do sort of think that as we go along, it just might be that this becomes the new norm, but we'll see. Well, 3 minutes.
If I have anything to do with it, it might become the new norm.
Yeah.
But only really because this encompasses what you're doing, what we're doing, and the entire independent shift across the globe, not just in New Zealand, is all about the agent. And so for me, if I don't think about myself as a leader or a business grower, and I just think about myself as an agent and what I want, it's everything that all the independent people are doing.
Yeah. A lot of it comes down to belief for people, and I think that's why I'm an advocate of, as well as what we do and how we do it, and talking about that. I'm also a big advocate about talking about business, talking about what you can achieve, talking about motivation, talking about all those kind of things. So this was a little funny joke here, guys, really. Matt Jones, I was talking about appification in the slide that we never got to, and will real estate agents be replaced by apps? And one of the things I have bought, I can't see a show of hands, but let's imagine. Put your hands up if you bought something online for. Put your hands up if you bought something online for $100 or more. So every hand is going to be up. We can't really see hands, but every hand's going to be up. Put your hand up if you bought something online for $1,000 or more. Probably less hands. Put your hand up if you bought something online for $100,000 or more, online or via an app, and we're going to see less hands. I did buy a car last week for $120,000, and I bought it sight unseen. But I've also bought things sight unseen that are a lot more than that, because I used to flip properties, and my goal was to not see them, not walk in the door, and sell them without touching them. But I think for the majority of people, when they're spending more than about $1,000 It could be less, whatever. I think it's going to be really hard because if you can't look, see, feel, touch, smell, pretty tricky, right? And negotiation on an app is just never going to work. So I'm going to just move on to this. That's my last slide for today. I'd like to talk to you more about team building and other things, but get me back some other time or reach out to me. I talk about all kinds of fun things on my blog. If you scan that, you'll get hopefully, I'm pretty sure it works. It will work. You get a little sign up page. So there you go. That's me. Any questions? 11:59. No questions? Emily, help. Emily's going to be letting someone else in. So if you type a question in.
I was on mute and I was just saying I'll let you know in about 2.5 seconds. So guys, I actually I said before you started that I love basically everything that you're doing. And I love your marketing. And I read a lot of what Matt does. So guys, it's a really great blog. Get your phones out and make sure that you get all over it. And I'm telling you, Matt is one of the most humble, down-to-earth guys that I think I've ever met in real estate. It doesn't happen that often, to be honest. And so if you do have questions, he's always at the other end of the phone to answer. And, he's just a very approachable guy. So I want to say a huge congratulations, Matt, for everything that you are doing, for everything that you have achieved. Independent agent is rocking and rolling, and you have some very, very happy people there. So congratulations on that, and thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
And your effort. Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
I know that you're an exceptionally busy man, and more so right now. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it more than you know. Matt Jones, everyone. Independent
Thanks, guys.
agent.
Appreciate
Woo-hoo!
it. Thanks so much.
Love it.